What's up, guys? So today I will be doing a chapter review on the latest chapter of Toriko, chapter 240, as of July 8th, 2013. And so my discussion will be on everything from chapter 1 in the manga up until this current point, the latest chapter. And I will be talking on future events to occur from what we've seen so far. So first off, we'll start the review assuming you guys have read all of these chapters yourself and know what's up. So once you have that down, realize that I will make that assumption, so if you don't understand something, you gotta read the latest chapter. And so this is the latest chapter, and I want to jump straight to the ending, okay? Basically what happens at the end is you see like a platform, like a hovering disc, and you see like the dark figure who we've seen at the end of the last arc with the four beasts, and Tepai standing in a subservient position next to him. Now everyone is saying that this guy is Joa, and some people are saying he's actually the Sasaya, the most famous or the strongest Sasaya of all time. And let me just look up that guy's name just real quick so you guys know who I'm talking about. His name is, hold up, Moyan Shai. Moyan Shai. He is the strongest Sasaya of all time, as we know of from the Toriko universe. He's also the fourth gourmet national treasure to be revealed, and I think there will be only 4. According to Chiyo earlier, I think it was mentioned that she could not be a gourmet national treasure because of the limited spots, and Setsuno had knocked her out. So there apparently can only be 4, and he is the 4th to be revealed. And the reason why people are saying he is not Joa, well, the great majority is saying it is Joa. For those of you who don't know who Joa is, you should, but he is the head chef who caters to the previous king of Jadal. If you saw the end of the Gourmet Casino arc, the king of Jadal left with Joa. He completely abandoned the country, and now we see him in Neo. So that pretty much means that Joa has to be part of Neo as well. Neo being the third-party faction that has recently been arisen. And so everyone thinks, you know, this dark figure looks like Joa, so he has to be Joa. And I think that a lot of people will assume it's Joa because of the dialogue that was said at the end of the chapter, which says, and I quote, "I suppose this is my first fest in 200 years. And everyone's saying this has to be Joa because the only person who this would relate to would be Joa, because he won the very first cooking gourmet fest ever, and then he was found out for cheating, so he was banned from any other competition, and the title was passed down to Setsuno, and therefore he obviously would not have any need to go to any more fests, and so it's been 200 years, and that is why it has to be Joa. And this may or may not be true, but me in particular, I think it might be a little bit of a plot twister, because we might just be seeing that the author is leading you on to think it is Joa, but by keeping the veil on the head dark, he's going to do like a plot twist, and it's actually going to be this guy, Moyan Shai. And why I think this is because there's so many other people that could have gone to the first fest and not gone to any of the others and returned 200 years later. That does not mean it is Joa. If it was Joa and I knew it 100%, it would have said something like, I won the first fest and now I'm back 200 years. But all it says is, I suppose this is my first fest in 200 years. So that could be the Moyen, that could be Moyen Shai Shai, who is the legendary first Asaya. And as we can see from the Toriko universe, people live pretty darn long. At least the strong characters do. And I'm kind of confused about this, but I think what happens is that most people live to their human lifespan in the Toriko universe, similar to our lifespan, but those injected with gourmet cells can live longer, but they cannot live indefinitely because, as you can see, Setsuno is aging dramatically from her previous self, as is Naki Master Juro. The only person we've seen who is immortal was that Bishu Kukai, who got completely destroyed. So anyhow, before I get too off track, it could be this guy, and another reason is because Teppai is with him. When did we last see Teppai? Teppai was in the care of Moyen's disciple, Pukin, and Pukin is also a Saseiya, so it would make sense for Teppai to follow the master Saseiya of all time into battle. Now, I personally think it would be cooler if it was Joa though, and I can see the reasoning behind that too, because we saw this same dark figure with the same clothing at the end of the previous arc with the 4 beasts, and you saw Teppai try and fight him and get completely owned immediately. He got knocked out and he dreamed that he was being like eaten. So I can see where you guys are coming from, where you're saying this could be Joa, and Joa cast some sort of enchantment on Teppai to enslave him, and so Teppai is now under the enslavement of Joa. We don't know, but judging from the chapter, it will be revealed in the next coming week's chapters, so it won't be too big of an event. It'll come pretty soon. Further on, let's move on to the next thing I want to talk about, and that is Komatsu as a character and how he completely cowards out in the latest fight. And so, if you saw this chapter, you saw in the middle, you saw the scene in the middle where Komatsu is seen as a dark silhouette. Starjin is coughing up blood because he got a hole punched into his chest, and he's on the ground coughing. Then you see this panel where Starjin is like coughing up blood, and you see a dark silhouette in the background who is Komatsu. And when I first saw that, I was thinking to myself, man, Komatsu's got it down pat. He is going to wreck Starjin up. Finally, he's grown some balls. He's gonna, use his knife and his milk knife and just cut Starjin in half. Unfortunately, he did not do this, which I was completely outraged about. I really wish he did this. Komatsu's been depicted as a weakling this entire time. I thought maybe, just maybe, he will finally grow some strength in the Cola arc, the Gourmet Pyramid Cola arc. Back when Zebra made contact with Komatsu and told him to treat these monsters like ingredients. So back in that arc, Komatsu was like, I'm going to treat them as monsters, as ingredients. And then he was like about to do some epic killing of like a capture level 30 or 40 monster, which was pretty epic, considering that like most humans in their universe could not take down a capture level 1 monster. But obviously he missed, and we didn't see much more of Komatsu fighting. And so I was disappointed once again. It turns out Komatsu wanted to beg Starjin to cut Toriko, and it's pretty clear that by cut he means the rejuvenation blade cut, which pretty much heals the person who was cut and rejuvenates his cells. So he wants to get one cut in on Toriko. He just needs one cut, and Starjin's like really surprised that he's mastered this technique. which takes a lot of skill, because if you do it wrong, then you kill the person. You have to get in between the cells without touching the cells while cutting them. And so obviously if Komatsu is so skilled, it means that one cut's enough to maybe potentially regrow all of Toriko's arms, or maybe just heal him to a point where we know he will not die. Regardless, I personally think Starjin won this battle hands down. Not by a lot, by a very small margin. Most people might disagree with me, but I personally think Starjin won by quite a lot. And, well, excuse me, by quite a little. And the reason is because he is still conscious, he is still able to move, and he will get away while Komatsu is unconscious. And Starjin, if he wanted to, he could just straight up kill Toriko right there. Toriko is unconscious and Toriko is heavily damaged, and judging from this week's chapter, it seems like Starjin is just gonna leave him there, which makes no sense to me because they are mortal enemies, so he could just kill Toriko and move on. And another thing to cement his victory is the fact that he references this dark technique that he might have to do because he has taken too much damage, which means that he will use this dark technique and potentially heal himself, thus being the clear victor in this fight. And so I think Starjin won. Clap for that. It was an epic fight, epic fight. I definitely think it went very well. I definitely feel Komatsu should have done more, but him as a character, I guess there is that uniqueness about him as a chef that's different from all the other top 100 chefs who have comparable fighting capabilities to their cooking abilities, whereas Komatsu is super weak, even to a regular human, despite his impressive, well, his cooking abilities are decent. I wouldn't say they're impressive. It's mainly his food luck that makes him very unique, and his ability to talk to the food's voices, the ingredients' voices. And so before I ramble on too much, I'm going to wrap this up with my future thoughts. Neo, the third party, it's been mentioned that they have spies in the IGO and Bishu Kukai. We've seen lots of traders from the IGO already, none from the Bishu Kukai. The thing is, we haven't had much character development from the Bishu Kukai other than Starjin and a few select others like Chiyo. So who could potentially be a traitor? Well, I don't think it would be much of a big plot twist unless it was one of these major characters like Starjin, because we haven't really seen too much character development from any of the others yet. So I think it'd be great if it was that guy with the dishes, like the head chef or whatever, the head butler from the Bishu Kukai with the dishes, because he apparently seems to be one of the strongest, and he's one of the only ones who can directly communicate with Midora, as we've seen before. So it'd be pretty cool. Either him or, yeah, just him. I don't want, well, Chiyo's obviously evil, but I don't want Starjin because it would completely ruin everything. Starjin is pretty much like the polar opposite of Toriko, so it would not make sense for him to join or be a traitor of the third party Neo. But at the same time, it could potentially make sense because we do see a lot of good in him, in the fact that, you know, he has chosen not to kill Toriko many times in the past. And on top of that, there's definite times in the past where he was clearly stronger than Toriko and he chose not to fight. And it seems here he's done it again. He has, at least from up until chapter 240, he has decided to leave Toriko and potentially let Komatsu heal him rather than just kill him straight out. So he's not completely evil, and therefore it could be possible, these might be subtle hints by the author, that Starjin is on the side of Neo, and therefore maybe Neo is a little bit nicer to people of the IGO rather than Bishokukai, but who knows. So that is it for my chapter review and my future speculation. I know I did this review slightly late, but thank you if you watched this whole thing. I would appreciate it if you subscribe for more, because I am new at this. I actually do read a lot of other mangas, so if you have any ideas, suggestions on things I can fix, or more things to talk about, or just discussion on the anime or manga, leave a comment below. And please subscribe, because right now I have 0 subscribers, and it would be completely great if you want to see more reviews on other manga. I do read quite a bit of manga, mainly mainstream manga, so we'll just keep it to that. See you guys later, peace out, and hopefully Toriko comes out soon. Man, I just started this series like a month ago, and I've already finished all the way up to here, and I've already watched all of the Funimation anime. I'm so sad that it's so new that I've already caught up. It's amazing. Anyhow, please subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.